Morning, this is the south side of Dry Creek Canyon, and this looks like a good place to talk some anime.
Gunslinger Girl.
Despite its lurid B-movie title, the anime TV series Gunslinger Girl turned out to be a lot more interesting than its name at first implied. An Italian intelligence service creates a new division called the Social Welfare Agency in Newspeak. It's comprised of uniquely lethal assassins used to combat domestic terrorists and mafioso. Their elite assassins are cybernetically enhanced little girls, fast, strong, and deadly. Why little girls? Well, they say it's because only children can adapt to using these surgically installed cybernetic parts. The girls are chosen from hospitals from among those who have already been crippled by disease or accident, and they have no family. Essentially those girls whose future lives already look very short and bleak. After these bionic alterations, each of the girls is assigned a handler for training and control. As part of the procedure, they're brainwashed to blank out their old life and ensure their absolute loyalty to their trainer. Then they're taught to kill. While the actual gunplay in the anime is short and rare, when the anime does break out the action, it's violent and quite a study in contrast. One moment they're quiet, innocent-looking little girls, all sugar and spice, and the next moment they're coldly engaged in mayhem and getting splattered in blood. Thankfully, the series isn't entirely about these shoot-'em-up moments. Although the cover artwork delights in the imagery of innocent little girls cradling big guns, the anime is much more about the children and their handlers and their stilted relationships to one another, with only half the episodes involving actual intelligence assignments that use those guns. There are a total of 6 of these little girls involved in these stories. Gunslinger Girl is clearly contrived to provoke an emotional response. The girls aren't just cute little kids, they all come from tragic pasts that left them both physically crippled and all alone and abandoned or orphaned. One was run over by her own parents who hoped to collect on her life insurance. If that, combined with their harsh military-like training and often indifferent keepers, wasn't enough to engage your sympathies, they have a cold, murderous purpose to life. And to cap the tragedy, we're also told that the strain of these cybernetic enhancements may shorten their lifespan so they don't even reach adulthood. To heighten this pathos anymore, you'd have to kill kittens. Since the viewer is asked to concede such a cynically manipulative premise, the anime is going to have to deliver something exceptional on its own. For the most part, it does. While these girls could be morose and wallow in self-pity, they don't. Each in her own way has found a way to take some satisfaction in her strange life, within the relationship to her handler and the secret organization that keeps them sequestered from the rest of the world. For some, it's reading, or gardening, or collecting teddy bears. We may see them as poor, mistreated children, but they don't see themselves that way, and that makes them all the more likable. The handlers are intelligence agents, most with military backgrounds, and they aren't trying to be surrogate parents. Each has discretion on how they manage his or her own asset. Some are very strict and harsh, and none are easygoing. Some treat the girls as nothing more than tools to be used, repaired, and then stored away. Others treat them more like actual human beings. Every girl has a desperate need for the approval of her handler. Perhaps the contrast in styles is greatest between these two pairs. Josie manages his assassin, Henrietta, with consideration for her feelings, treating her to an occasional vacation or present. On the opposite extreme, Laurel manages Elsa as if she were a gun. In these scenes, the two management styles get a stark contrast as each agent is driving his assassin to an assignment. Josie talks with Henrietta about going sightseeing afterwards, while Laurel treats Elsa as an annoyance, then tries to drown her out with the car radio, like a noisy engine.
We finish with the job tomorrow. I thought we might take a little look around town. Does a vacation sound good to you?
Yeah.
By the way, that scene's from one of the episodes that isn't taken straight from the manga. The bizarre sci-fi premise offers a lot of possibilities for a TV series to explore. Gunslinger Girl doesn't spend a lot of time looking at the espionage plot. The assignments these girls do is incidental to the setup of the story of the relationship of these girls to their handlers and each other. The anime doesn't spend a lot of time looking at the terrorist targets or the terrorist objectives, whether it's organized crime or general terrorism. Although a couple of terrorists from the manga make a couple of brief appearances, the anime doesn't really care who they are or what they're fighting for. While individual episodes have plots, the series doesn't pull these operations together into an extended anti-terrorist story. It doesn't spend much time ruminating on the ethics of enlisting little girls in wet works either. The girls were rescued from a hopeless situation, and that's the extent of its self-reflection. When one of the girls is no longer useful for field work, she's put to work performing stress experiments on her cybernetic parts, essentially strained until she breaks, and then put back together and tried again. There's no one in this story who's going to suggest very loudly that this is cruel, and certainly not the victims, so you'll have to reason that out for yourself. Nor does the anime dwell on the morality of a domestic assassination program, even if the target is just a corrupt local mayor or merely an innocent citizen who got in the way of another operation. The girls themselves really have no capacity to form moral judgments, having been brainwashed to obey and protect their handlers. So, in a rare case where one of them does make an independent moral choice, it's a significant event. If you think of these children as being used by an immoral government, the anime won't rub your nose in it. What the anime does do is develop each of these girls as a unique, if somewhat warped personality, as well as developing a little bit of the personality of their handlers. The stories serve to advance or illuminate our understanding of those relationships. The animation is from Madhouse and it's excellent. They have provided rich backgrounds throughout Italy as we get a chance to see the scenery of Naples, the sculptures of Florence, the mountains of northern Italy. That also probably provided some of the crew a chance for a business trip to Italy to scout locations. They use clean character art with simple lines and muted colors. It's all animated very smoothly in the action scenes. The beauty of Italy contrasts nicely with the harsh violence these girls perform for their masters. Toshihiko Sahashi's music really works well in these stories. He's provided a surprisingly quiet score that works well with the lovely scenery and the emotions of the characters. I give Gunslinger Girl 4.5 stars. Belying its lurid titles, it's one of those short series where character, art, music, and storytelling all mesh together to provide an unexpected emotional connection. Several times it skirts on the edge of the maudlin, but it always manages to pull itself back. I couldn't decide if this was a cynical exploitation of the Moe phenomena or whether it was a scathing debunking of it. The truth is probably a bit of both. The anime is directed by Moriel Asaka, based on a lengthy manga by Yu Ida. The early episodes in particular are taken directly from that manga's early chapters. The manga is also available in an English translation from ADV. I found Funimation's English dub to be perfectly acceptable, though Lucy Christian's voice for Riko was close enough to her Princess Tutu that I kept expecting Riko to quack. The 13 episodes are released in North America on just 3 DVDs. The first 2 DVDs both have dub titles as well as subtitles, which dramatically reveals the difference in spelling and the Italian characters' names between English and Japanese versions. The third DVD omits the dub title for some reason. I know anime fans generally disdain dub titles, but at my age we call it closed captioning, thank you very much. The third DVD also has some commentary tracks from the English dub production track. I'd have been more interested if it had been the Japanese creative staff. Gunslinger Girl has considerable violence and blood, so you're probably not going to want to share this with the younger kids.
Thanks for listening.